it's 7 sharp. Those of you who attended or joined our lectures in the past are aware that we like to cast off exactly on time. So at the outset, allow me to welcome all of you on behalf of the India Habitat Center and the Society for Policy Studies. Today's lecture is a continuation of what we had identified or described as the Changing Asia series. And some of you have attended earlier lectures, and Mr. Shyam Saran had, in a way, sort of helped us to get the series off the ground. And we are coming back to visit a subject or a theme that I think most of you are reasonably aware of and familiar with. It's been doing the rounds for some time. 10 years of the India-US civilian nuclear agreement. To be very exact, it was signed on the 18th of July in 2005. And I can see many people in the audience who were part of that effort at that time. And it seemed most appropriate that we should have one of the principal players, if you will, at that time, Ambassador Saran was the Foreign Secretary, to look back and perhaps give us an overview about how do we assess July 2005. Now in this very room, I know from 2005 to now 10 years ago, we had discussed various aspects of not only the India-US relationship, but India's own strategic orientation. And I think it would be fair to remind ourselves, if you will, that July 2005 was preceded by June 2005, which was the agreement signed between our then Defense Minister and now the Honorable President, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, and Mr. Donald Rumsfeld, who was then the US Secretary of Defense. And in a way, June 2005 and July 2005 actually need to be seen as complementing each other. And a lot of water has flown under the bridge, and we have many accounts about what happened on both sides. And some of our more distinguished authors are here. I want to recognize Mr. Rajamohan, Dr. Rajamohan, who's written on that subject and who again has another mini opus on India's foreign policy. There are accounts about what happened on the US side, some substantive and some, I would say, more specific niches. So I'd like to thank Ambassador Shyam Saran for finding the time to revisit July 2005. And we often say that we introduce our speakers and say that so-and-so does not need an introduction. So today I shall not make the introduction except to say Ambassador Shyam Saran, former Foreign Secretary, former Special Envoy to the Prime Minister, currently Chairman of the RIS. And I think above all, he's been a good friend of the SPS and the Habitat Center. So on that note, may I request you, sir?
Uday, thank you very much for that introduction. Good evening to all of you, and welcome to this evening's event. I'm very gratified that we have almost a full house this evening, despite the weather. It has been pointed out by Uday that there were a number of things that really converged together before we came on to the civil nuclear agreement. Actually, July 18th, 2005 was not really the agreement itself, but in a sense the intention to conclude this agreement. But we have now almost invariably talk about the July 18 statement as the nuclear deal. Let me first of all, of course, begin by thanking the Society for Policy Studies and the India Habitat Center for inviting me once again to deliver a lecture under their very prestigious Changing Asia series. This series actually has been a very useful initiative, which has been, of course, the architect of that has been Uday himself, because it has been useful in fostering, public debate, some reasoned discourse on issues of interest in terms of strategy, in terms of foreign policy, something that really is required today as India's own engagement with the rest of the world in fact expands. The subject that I would be talking about today is not to sort of give you a storyline with respect to the Indo-US nuclear deal. I think a lot of material has already come out about how that story unfolded. I thought it would be much more worthwhile perhaps to share with you some of my own, shall I say, takeaways or learnings from that process, because to my mind, it was a rather unusual and unprecedented kind of a diplomatic effort. And I also believe that there are lessons to be learned from the way in which this deal was negotiated. There were positive lessons, but there were also some negative lessons that we need to